the national chairman, the general secretary, the national organizer, and the national treasurer of that political party are severally liable to a fine of not more than 10,000 penalty units or to a term of imprisonment of not less than 10 years and not more than 15 years. So I want to remind all of us, including...
All right, so you can get the full video on YouTube and search for any of the media houses, Clock TV included, and or even on our WhatsApp channel, Clock TV, and follow the full video there. So, gentlemen, I want to ask about the accountability series. What are our opinions on it?
Oh yeah,
right. So, like you rightly expanded, you've expanded what it entails, and what it seeks to achieve. And then I would like to touch on what the Interior Minister said concerning what transpired there, Ablekuma Mandot incident. I would say it's unfortunate, it's shameful. I mean, after practicing democracy for 68 good years, what we could do is what we saw. People flying in the air, doing all manner of things, using pepper spray and all that.
We will come to that, but I want to, you know, the accountability series, as it says, I think is a bit self-explanatory, where we have leadership coming to tell us what's going on, you know, what they told us, you know, in their manifesto or plans for us versus what's actually happening. And I'm asking that, what do we think? Do we think that this is something sustainable? Do we think this is something that has maybe the ordinary citizen in mind, you know, coming to tell us the matters on ground and what's happening with them, as opposed to maybe it's being like a political gimmick, like they want to act, you know, some people may say, oh, they want to act as if they are being so honest or something. But I want to ask that, do we think this is a step in the right direction in light of everything that's happening, considering the fact that, like you even mentioned, last elections, Ghanaians are discerning now, as you said, the minority leader said. So considering what happened in the previous elections, that because of the situation in the country, the votes turned out in a certain way. Now they've decided to be accountable. Do we think that this is something that they can continue for the next, or for their tenure?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what we've been calling for, accountability, and here is it. So I think it's sustainable. I mean, coming to tell the public what is actually transpiring. It's been 6 months, and then coming to tell us what they've been able to achieve is, I mean, a step in the right direction. Getting to know what is actually going on in the governance is very imperative, and that is what we've been asking for. Now, the Interior Minister has made known to us some of the things some people do not actually know about. And so I think it's a very good step in the right direction. And I think, in my opinion, that it's very sustainable.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's a good thing, and this is not a new thing in this country. It is not something that is newly started by NDC. In the previous government, they were doing it. There was, I think, meet the press.
Okay.
You could see the minister would be there and briefing the press on what they've done so far. And if I really remember, sometimes you could see a huge number of even the ordinary Ghanaian there asking questions regarding the same thing. But the unfortunate incident is, Yara, they seem to tell us what they want to tell us. That is the whole thing.
So
that is the whole thing.
All of them in general, or this current one?
Not this current one, but I'm speaking in general.
Okay.
In general, Ghanaians are expecting to know what is really happening. Ghanaians expect questions to some peculiar things, but at the end of the day, it will turn out to be like they are giving us the information they want to give us. They are feeding us what they want to feed us. So I would like to appeal to this government that they should go beyond what normally has been done, to an extent that they just come and tell us anything and they expect an ordinary Ghanaian to believe it.
I think there were a few people asking questions, or?
Yes, it's there. That is the media, the fourth arm of government speaking on behalf of the ordinary Ghanaian. We should all understand that some questions cannot all be answered by, or cannot be asked by the media. So we want to see as Yaya would say, the expanded form. Yes, in multi. So we want to see the expanded form of this, that in moving forward, it will not be about doing it in the presidency. It will not be about with the media, where a selected media or open media whatsoever, but it should be a place like a public space where anybody at all who has issue regarding a particular thing would be able to come there to ask questions. And I believe that, yes, we will use time, but we can use a whole 2 hours, 3 hours for things like this, because a lot of people have questions to ask. But when you look at actions like this, it's been limited. You have 5 questions you are supposed to ask, 10 questions you are supposed to ask. But I believe that moving forward, we should expand it. We should make it so open for anybody at all who would like to come there would be able to come. And when you look at the main reason, even though you made us know, but this is all about media updates from the key ministries. So as the Minister of Finance will be going to Parliament on July 24th, that is next week, Thursday, to present the media budget review to Parliament. I think this is what the other ministers are doing. Okay. And it is starting, as you said, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So God willing, tomorrow, another minister is going to give the update. God willing, on Friday, there's going to give the update. I was trying to get a calendar, but I know we will do the calendar and put on our WhatsApp channel so that viewers will get to know which minister is appearing, God willing, tomorrow to update the ordinary Ghanaians on issues like this.
But considering the fact that we have a lot of Ghanaians who have questions, and the questions span from very important questions to the most, not so important questions. So I think that maybe there can be a forum where, or a platform where maybe certain people are, there. You know how, let's say, on various apps, you have FAQs, frequently asked questions.
Exactly.
So maybe they can sort of categorize these questions that Ghanaians have. So if you have a political question, you direct it to this part of it. You tap. You know how the apps work. So political, then you ask your question there. So that maybe whoever is handling all of that can streamline the questions, and I don't want to speak to you, but as in they can sift through it and then pick and then pick the most pressing questions that seem to be on a lot of Ghanaians' minds, because you know how Ghanaians are. They will come and ask a very silly question, and it is something that is public. There are some people that just want to create comic relief, and they are not very self-aware. So yes, what you're saying is true. We need to be able to open it to the public, but they can also streamline it, just like the way we also get WhatsApp questions here and there, and I like to streamline them. So I don't read the very derogatory ones. I read the ones that, are very respectful and decorous. And that's a reminder to my viewers. Please send in your comments and be respectful. Yes.
And Yara, lastly, as you are saying, it's good because we need to bring the very stakeholders in the various ministries. For example, when it comes to security sector, we have stakeholders in security sector. Aside the media, we have key players. So in updates like this, such people need to be there because they have a lot of things they would like to know. So I believe that moving forward, these are the things we expect to see. We expect the government to be more transparent, give us the updates we want, and let's carry Ghana together.
And in that transparency too, our leaders shouldn't be using overly big English that we won't understand. They should break it down to the layman's understanding, because things like the energy levy and, even let's say the e-levy, all the levies that were to be implemented at a point, they had maybe a good reason for such, but based on maybe the miscommunication, misinformation, disinformation, and some of the unclear words, they will use some very big Shakespearean terminologies, and then people get lost in translation, so they don't truly understand. I think that when they come down to that level and explain, and the public is listening, those translating to can translate to the other local languages, people would understand properly. Because a very key example is what we were supposed to experience nationwide doom. So, but that was not the issue. That was not the case. And just because of misinformation, people, I remember seeing on social media people talking about they are charging everything they own because they don't want to. And it didn't even happen. At least my neighborhood was covered in the blood of Jesus. So it didn't even happen in a lot of areas as far as I'm concerned. So you realize that it was just something that could happen, but it was not going to be for the whole 24 hours. And you know how sometimes the media can be for clickbait and things, but I know Clock TV, we are not like that. So Peter, anything you want to add before I go to the story
yes.
you're itching to discuss?
So, like you rightly said, so that is the main reason why the media is supposed to take up some of these, measures to make sure that the people really understand whatever the government is saying, policies and all that. And then also to add up to what Clement said, expanding, adding the stakeholders to be able to ask questions. So I think that would be the long-term initiative. So for the short term, I think they should increase the number of, questions every journalist can ask. Because really, watching the video yesterday, I realized that most of the journalists ask really the pressing, questions in terms of the firearms, in terms of the electoral dispute and all of that. So I believe that when additional, time is being given, they'll be able to, if not meet the satisfaction of the general public, at least halfway, they'll be able to ask most of the questions. So I think going forward, the next series, we should see that.
And a quick reminder, this series is also different from the State of the Nation address. That is a different thing. This is also different. So let's keep that in mind. The State of the Nation address too will come. Now, the story here, the hottest trending story in town, which is our online story here. It says, Kodio raises alarm over security lapses in Ablikuma North parliamentary rerun. So the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, Kodio, has expressed grave concern over the conduct of security forces and the general state of law enforcement during the parliamentary rerun election in Ghana's Ablikuma North constituency on July 11, 2025. In a statement released on July 14, Kodio described the situation as a clear and present danger to Ghana's democratic stability, citing a disturbing breakdown of law and order at polling centers despite a significant security presence. Now, the group's concerns were triggered by a violent incident at the St. Peter's Society Methodist Church polling station where unknown individuals reportedly stormed the center and disrupted the voting process. And according to Kodio, police officers at the scene failed to intervene, neglecting their duty to protect voters, election officials, and party agents. Gentlemen, take us away.
We
can see a video of some of the violence that ensued there.
I think these are incidents of Honorable Howard Kumsin. Yeah.
This is, this is uncalled for.
Right, so those were videos of some of the events that occurred on the day of the election, the rerun. And it's okay. We have a comment. Let me take that comment. Okay, 2 comments. This one, it says, "Good morning. I'm Eben from Kabinya. Promise fulfilled." Okay, no, that's not it. Okay, there are 2. Hey, okay. So it says, "I'm Eben from Kabinya. As we are condemning those who attacked Hawa Kumsin, I think we also have to condemn her for her comment. And being there with pepper spray is not good at all." Then he also says again that promises fulfilled. Assembly members are to receive monthly allowances of 1,300 Ghana cedis. Papa, we will not regret the change we voted for. God bless JDM, God bless NDC. And then we also have, "Good morning, Koko Digest. Great team. Kudos to our Interior Minister. We need to bring our military personnel to Akwetia's rerun." This is from Mohammed Musa and Alajo. So, yes, Ablekuma North rerun. I'm coming to fight. You, Nanaya was not here, but I'm coming to. We were here on Thursday when I asked.
So let me make my submission.
Yes.
I think last Thursday you were so much concerned about our security situation at Ablekuma North, and we were so much optimistic that the rerun wouldn't be this chaotic as we saw. Yes, I think Ghanaians were not expecting something like this. Though we know Ablekuma North in 2024 election had a lot of chaotic scene, but we're not expecting to see incident as we saw. So I think the police service were not so, from my point of view and what people are saying, they were saying that they were not so readily available for a situation like this because on the day of election, there were a lot of police people there. There were a lot of them. To an extent that some politicians were saying that they are using the police to intimidate our voters on the day of voting. So you could see there were a lot of policemen there. But I think they were not prepared for incidents like this. So that was the whole issue.
What were they doing there then?
So, Yaira, when look at the situation that happened, on one end, people are saying that Ghana police should be very firm on their rules and regulation regarding electoral processes. So if I'm coming to the police station and I don't have the accreditation, you shouldn't allow me. That is what the rule says. And even if I have accreditation, you should make sure that I am thoroughly searched before I get into the premises. And if I get into the premises, how long am I supposed to stay there? All these things are supposed to be looked at. But I think it is something they overlooked. They didn't pay critical attention to that. That is why issues like this actually came up on our rerun, a day of rerun. When you look at the group that came on that day, especially to the Methodist Park where the incident of Honorable Kumsin happened, and when I saw the video, like this shot is one angle. When you look at other different angles of the shot, you could see the close-up when the man, I don't know whether he has practiced flying over the years, how this man was able to jump from behind and hit Honorable Howard Kumsin. People are asking why or what could result in issues like this. And I think the police answered it, or the Minister of Interior answered it yesterday, that they are really probing into this very incident, and the Ghana police has started investigation. And also, if I really remember, there was an incident at Ayawaso West Wegomba election, and the Interior Minister also said that they have received reports on such incidents, and also all the electoral violence that happened in 2024 general election. So I think that we should take this issue all again. We shouldn't just take that of the Ablekuma North and leave the subsequent the previous ones. No, let's pick it from the very beginning of this incident. Anybody found that he or she is culprit of this incident might be dealt with, because since 1992 that Ghana embraced democracy, we've been to democratic nature for 32 good years, and we shouldn't be seeing things like this on the screen. And Yaira, as I think I also cite with the the minority leader for the call that the political class need to pay critical attention to incidents like this, because for an ordinary Ghanaian to go to a polling station to cause all this kind of chaotic scene, it might be some kind of ignite from a political So I believe that it's not just an ordinary Ghanaian will just stand up and be like, I'm going to polling station to fight. Why would you go there? It might be a call from some group of people. So I think that this thing need to be stopped once and for all, because we have the by-election for Akwatia approaching. And if you don't keep this issue of Ablekuma not to rerun, and the corporates are not put into books as soon as possible, and we move into Akwatia by-election, we might end up seeing worse incidents than this.
And I don't particularly agree with the fact that too many police or too many security personnel at the polling station is intimidating. If you have not done anything wrong, why are you afraid?
Why?
The policeman will not come and catch you for voting. Vote and leave. Why? So I think that we need to stop using that as a means to reduce the security personnel or security presence, because considering the quantity of police that is said to have been there, look at what has happened.
Exactly.
You know, a former member of parliament and all that has even been attacked. Other people were attacked and things like that, even in the presence of the police. So if the number was reduced, what would have happened? How many casualties would we have even probably, you know, come to see that, okay, now even people have died? Because they say what? Exactly. Then the police will do something to you. But when you go do your thumbprint or your checks and then you leave quietly to the comfort of your home, what do you need to be afraid of the police for? What do you need to be afraid of the military for? I think we even had a comment here. So the comment I read, she said we should the military should have been deployed, and then I think I read that the defense minister said there wasn't a need for the military to be there because it's kind of would undermine the police, and then also involvement of military too much also undermines democracy.
Exactly.
But in the general elections, we had the military available on standby, that if the police needed backup, then, you know. Now, if Ablekuma North was noted for this notorious behavior, I mean, one or two people in the Kamo, they should have, you know, it would have helped. Because you see the people and you know that, hey, soldier will slap me, so let me move quietly, do the needful. And then those who have been instigated to come and misbehave, seeing the soldiers it may have instilled some fear in them. Because, I mean, a lot of Ghanaians, for lack of it, okay, allegedly, or in my opinion, don't tend to give the needed respect to the police as they give to the military. Right, because from what we see on grounds now, because now we even have someone saying that, yes, the military should have been deployed there. You see,
I think before Peter comes in, we are talking about just 19 polling stations. Yeah. So why should other people are saying that why should the military men be there for just 19 polling stations? Because in 2023, we had by-election at Asan North, the constituency of Honorable James Dachi-Kwesen. And we know how the police handled that situation, that very place. There were a lot of policemen there, and we didn't see much of this chaotic scene. What happened at Ablekuma North in the constituency of Honorable James Dachi-Kwesen. So I think the police were up and doing, as I said earlier, they can do the work, but as I said, maybe they were not really expecting incidents like this happening. So moving forward, I think they should go into all elections readily readily prepared.
But I also don't agree with that, considering the fact that once a tiger, always a tiger. A tiger never changes its stripes, as they say. Look at how the behavior of this constituency was in the 2024 general elections. So you should have some sort of foresight that it is more likely than not that they would behave this way, so that they would have been on guard more than they were. Because, yes, as you said, some constituencies were peaceful, you know, they didn't do anything. But in this one, maybe, look at even how tight the votes were. Look at I think about 209.
Yeah, 34,000 and...
very few votes that made the difference. So you can see that it was tight, it was intense there. So, of course, they should have been a little more, you know, serious with the security.
Yeah, so, like you rightly said, I do not want to believe, like, what Clement said concerning what the opinion people had, that the police were not ready. I mean, they should have envisaged it. And then taking I mean, this is something that has been occurring. Like you rightly said, we've practiced democracy for close to 32 years now, and instances like this have been occurring. So I think that we should, it's our character, it has become our character. Like 19 polling stations out of 37, and all that we could do is what transpired over there. It's very sad. And then people have really lost confidence in our electoral process and the police service as well.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the people losing confidence in the police service, let's take what transpired there. Going an extent of, slapping a journalist. I mean, as a military personnel, as a police personnel in uniform, you are there to protect the people. You're there to ensure that
assaulting somebody.
You are assaulting someone. The person is in uniform as you're also in uniform. So one day, the news wouldn't be like a policeman assaulting a journalist. It will be rather a journalist assaulting, because this has been happening. It has been occurring. Now, when you take a look at the 2016, the same thing happened. 2020, the same thing happened. And then this one, the instance, what led to this rerun has occurred again. Look at the amount of money we spent. I mean, it's high time we sit down as a country and do what is right. I mean, people have lost confidence. Look at what transpired, that they wanted to have the election in one of the, I think St. John or something, in one of the churches, but the people didn't agree.
So they should bring it out.
They should bring it out because the people, they don't have confidence. They don't have confidence in the electoral, process again. I mean, seeing people, going around. So what will happen if they allow the Electoral Commission to, conduct the elections freely without party, officials, party chairmen and other people storming the place? I mean, we trust the EC, so we should allow them with the party agents and the officials to, take over, rather than, allowing party officials, party chairman and all that visiting the polling stations with military men. Now, the Interior Minister spoke about Vigilante Act. I mean, I have a question. So they explained what vigilantism is. Now, as a party chairman, visiting a polling station with metro men, would we consider the metro men as like vigilante group or what? I mean, it's high time we put an end to some of these things. My party is in power. I'm the party chairman. They have. It's not fair. It is not really helping. It is not really helping at all.
So let me take a few comments, then we wrap up quickly. So this one says, good morning, Yaya. Good morning to everyone too. Violence and security concerns. According to my knowledge, the rerun was marked by violent incidents, including attacks on politicians like Howard Kumson, a former Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, and journalists. The police were criticized for their response, with some officers reportedly unarmed, lacking riot control equipment. My question is, will this happen again? Ghana. This is Nathaniel Adi in Sunyane. Then this one says, good morning, Yaya. Yes, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers condemned the violence, votes buying, and security lapses in the rerun. They called for thorough investigations and prosecution of the perpetrators to deter future violence. Ghana police, please wake up. Ghana police, please wake up. This is Asante in Hachu. Thank you all so much for your comments. Thank you. I mean, we didn't have enough time to delve into this, but Ghanaians, please don't avail yourselves as tools and henchmen for politicians. When you die, that is the end. So this brings us to the end. I mean, I know my co-hosts here want to have a deeper conversation, but our time is up. This brings us to the end of the online and print review. Next is the sports segment, and we'll be right back.
Exciting conversation with a school that prides itself as one of Ghana's best, premier schools. So I'm talking about a school that was established in 1931, and they, happen to be located somewhere in Accra. They boast of, having one of the best old school, old schools or old students, let me put it that way. And so, yes, we have some of them in the studio this morning, and we are going to be talking about Accra Academy's upcoming 94th Founders Day celebration. And so I'm privileged to have with me Dr. Eric Ebose, who happens to be the headmaster of Accra Academy, and we also have Mr. Paul Kofi Dazi, Assistant Headmaster Administration, and also Mr. Alfred Mills, Global Organizing Secretary, Accra Academy Old Boys Association. Thank you very much, sirs, for gracing our show this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So your upcoming Founders Day, is fast approaching. And I want to take from you individually, how does that make you feel? Let me start with, who do I start with?
I have to, as the administrator of the school, I need to start and then put things in their perspective order so that people will not be out there and take decisions for us. Okay. Well, I'll start from the introduction that you've made right now. Yeah. My name is Paul Kofi Dazi, the administrator.
So I think we left out the Yesu.
Yes, the Yesu is very much important to me. Had it not been the Jesus I have in my name, I wouldn't have been alive by now. So get that one right. Okay. And then my headmaster, who is sitting right with me here, is also Mr. Eric Ebose. Okay. Yes. So, somebody said, Doctor, please, it's Mr. Eric Ebose.
Yes. Mr. Eric Ebose.
Ebose. Good. Okay. And then we have Alfred Mills. Okay. Alfred is the organizer of the Old Boys Association. So we are here this morning to talk about the Founders Day that is upcoming.
Exactly. So just as I asked earlier, thanks for the clarification, but how does that make you feel, witnessing another Founders Day celebration as an assistant headmaster?
Well, it feels so good. And first of all, let me use this opportunity to say a very good morning to all the old students out there, especially the AUBA president and his people who have been in so much support to the school, and also the teachers who are in school currently. They are also helping a lot, because if they are not there to organize the students, we cannot have this program coming off. So I want to say a very big good morning and thank you to them. Yes, it feels good that you have old boys coming back to their alma mater and then come together with the students who are in school, for the young ones who are coming up to know that, yes, we have all these people who are out there thinking of us. So it feels so good to be part of the 94th Founders Day.
Thank you very much. Hedy, let me ask you, what does Founders Day, this upcoming Founders Day mean to you as the head of the school?
It's a very special occasion. The board and then the staff are all in tune with this program that is coming up. The students are very excited about the program that is coming up. This is going to be the 94th. Accra Academy, like you mentioned earlier during the introduction, started in 1931. Okay. It's one of the oldest. And those who are currently in school are inspired by those who have walked within the walls of the academy. The academy is a very special school, where it started from and where it is now. The number of people that have passed through the school, there is always an excitement of the old ones coming in, especially with the young ones that have to take up after them. And so I would add that they are really inspired. Students are eagerly waiting for this occasion.
Mr. Alfred, you happen to be the organizer for this whole program. How does that also make you feel?
Thank you for the question. It's exciting, looking back at how these four gentlemen toiled to make Academy what it is today, with the help of one Mrs. Ellen Buckle. So, in fact, going back to the story, just like Headmaster said, Akraka was founded on the 20th of July, 1931.
Yeah.
By 4 young men, all under the age of 30 years, who, if by destiny or by chance, met at the Farabe College in Sierra Leone and decided to give back to society. So their sole aim was to establish, a secondary school to take care of the less privileged in the society who couldn't afford to attend, their late secondary schools. So with this idea, they got the support of Madame Helen Buckle, who heartedly and willingly gave out a building, a story building at Jamestown to help them run the school. So Accra Academy started 1931 in Jamestown, and then with just 19 students from Form 1 to Form 3. Okay, and then these 4 gentlemen, Kofi George Konwa, who was the first principal, and then Samuel Niels Awulete, who was a tutor. We also have Gottfried Naku Alima, who was also a tutor, and then James Akwe Almado, who was the vice principal at that time and also a tutor. In fact, they started the school. So they were all teachers at that time. So they started with 19 students, and the sole aim was to provide quality secondary education to the less privileged who had qualified and couldn't afford to attend secondary schools in Jamestown. So that's how come Akraka is called the 1931 Jamestown Boys School. Oh, that's the nickname, yes. So government took over. After some time, government took over. It became 1950. Government assisted the school in 1950 before it moved to its current state at Bubashi in 1960 something. 61. Yes. So this is the brief history of the school. So these 4 gentlemen who, if by chance or destiny, met in Farabe College in Sierra Leone, decided to set up an academy where they lived in Jamestown, just to help the less privileged who couldn't afford the other elite schools, secondary school, to give them secondary education. And then from nowhere, this woman came in to give them that building to start. So Accra Academy started at Ellen House. That is why in the school's motto, you hear them saying, "Here are we now in Ellen House, the house of no regrets." Get it? So they started the school, these 4 young men. And at the age of 30 years, the 4 of them came together with just £200 to start Accra Academy.
Wow. Interesting story there. I'll come back to you on the theme for this year's celebration, but let me take Headmaster's view on, this whole celebration. There is something that goes with your motto. I don't know, when we say Accra Academy, you say Bleo. Is it Bleo?
Yes. I think you're right. Headmaster is not privy to the story that led to.
No, he's okay.
So what's understand how it all came about?
Okay, you
It's very interesting about I will allow the old boys. That is an old boy story. So they will tell you. All right. It's a very interesting.
All right. Okay. So, those days, when you mention Accra Academy, it's about, when you talk about, apart from education, sports is one major thing that Accra is associated with. So those days, Achimota, the few schools, Achimota Accra Academy used to travel to Kumasi for games. And Achimota, because of, they are the visa, they always want to, So I hear one time in the bus on the way to Kumasi, they were making noise. So, very confident they were going to beat us in Kumasi. So, but our academicians were quiet. But then the driver of the bus was like, how come these students from this school are so quiet? But then coming back after the event when Accra had won almost all the disciplines, and Achimota couldn't talk again. So the driver in the bus used to turn and shout, Accra, are you there? And then they say, oh, Bleo. We don't talk. So that's how come the slogan came, Accra, Bleo. So every academician you meet is that cool type.
And naturally, are you all like cool people?
Oh, yes.
We are cool.
Yes. We
I
are.
like how Headmaster was quick to answer.
Yes, we are cool.
We are always cool.
You don't like trouble.
So as he's saying, we don't rush in taking decisions.
Exactly.
You relax, and when you come out, it means you are doing the right thing.
Yes. Right. Let me stay on you. Could you share with us any memorable, event you can recall during your time at Accra Academy?
Yes, if you talk about my time in Accra Academy, I would say I'm a proud teacher of Accra Academy, but not an old boy.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a lot of moments because we have been organizing events for the old boys and students to come around. And when they come, we see how they merge, they move together, they do things in common. The old and then the new, you will not see the difference. That is the spirit. The old people come for them to know that, yes, we were once here, and you also be like us. Whatever we have gained from here, we need to come and share with you. And that inspires them to also do their best so that they can look up to them. Currently, as we speak, we have a lot of people who pass through Accra Academy. If I can't talk about anything at all. The school has produced not less than 3 speakers. And if you look forward to see all these people from DFR9, Do Ajaho, and then Peter Alajiti, that alone tells you that if you have all these people, and I'm learning in this institution, it means in future I'll also become great. So that alone, when they come and then share the experience with them, is something that we cherish a lot.
Interesting. Before I move to the organizer for the theme, Headmaster, let me also ask you, as the head of the school, I don't know how long you've been heading the school. How long has it been?
Okay. It's just about 2 months now.
2 months, okay.
But I was there for a while.
A while,
as the assistant headmaster.
How has the experience been for you as a headmaster?
Academy, being in Accra Academy has been a very interesting experience. It is, in actual fact, it is the place that I want to be. Yes. Because in Accra Academy, from the board to the students, maybe I would say, because I left out staff, maybe through staff, it is a family. Yes. Those who have completed Accra Academy are always willing to give back. And that is the school, the only school that I know, that they are willing to give back to the school. There are lots of things in Accra Academy that you will not find in any other school. The brotherhood, the friendliness, and even with the students, the excitement. For anybody, I don't know whether you have a brother, but if you have one, a friend, talk to him and they will tell you there is no other school they would like to be other than Accra Academy.
Interesting.
But it's a very unique institution.
Thank you very much on that. Now, organizer, what really went into this year's theme? So the theme is the role of education in honoring our past, leveraging the present to build the future. Such a very, in-depth theme. What really went into that?
All right, okay, thank you. In fact, we've decided as all students and school at large to, give recognition and honor this men who sacrificed a lot. It wasn't easy. 4 men putting together, 4 men at the age of 30 years, putting together 200 pounds those days in 1931 to set up the school. The idea alone to give back to society or to help the less privileged is let's say, a massive thing. So it's proper. We feel it's proper and prudent to honor and then recognize them, at least on that particular day they founded the school. So, and this year is going to be special in the sense that we are inviting family members of all these families. So we have family members of KG Kona, family members of Aulete, family members of Aliman, and then Ahmadu coming to be part of this. Years past, it was just a few of them were coming, but this time we've made sure all the 4 family members of these 4 fathers are there. So it's unique in the sense that we want the students coming on campus to see that some people have toiled for them to be where they are. So it is important, and also imbibe in them the spirit of selflessness in giving back to society or giving back to school, which has made you who you are and what you will be in the future.
So in a minute, what should old boys or anyone who wants to come expect from this 94?
All right, we have a whole lot of activities lined up. Okay, so on Friday we're going to have clean-up exercise in the school, and then on Saturday there's going to be photo exhibition about the history of the school, and then we'll be having cadets display, cultural display as well. There will be a candlelight procession in late evening from 5 to 7 p.m. There will be some jams for the students to have a feel of what it feels like after hard work. Then there will be bonfire as well. And then on Sunday, It's a 3-day event, and on Sunday is the climax, which will be the memorial lecture.
Okay. That's what we have on our screens.
Yes,
okay.
the memorial lecture, and then the service.
Okay.
Where everybody will be in their school cloth.
Okay.
As a way of showing appreciation to this 4 gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Headmaster, your last words.
Okay, I think I would say that the founders must be proud of the school's commitment to academic excellence. And then the inclusive spirit, the impact of the alumni in Ghana as a whole, as well as even beyond the shores of the country. They had a vision, and we have tried, or generations have tried to sustain the core values. And we will continue so that this will be a testament to their enduring vision that they plan for the school.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Assistant Headmaster, your last words.
Thank you so much. You know, there's a saying that it is not worthy dying for a nation that does not honor its heroes. So it is good that at this moment in time, the school has decided that we will always remember the founders of this institution. At least when it is done, it serves as a platform for everybody to know that, hey, if I do it and do it well, one day I'll also be remembered for what I am doing. Apart from that, when they come, the discipline that they have left for the students to also emulate, they will know that if these people went through this and they are coming back, then we need to do more. So we are using this opportunity once again to invite all the old boys out there who will have the opportunity or the time to be with us. And all our board members have also been invited. All the former headmasters have also been invited, headmasters and headmistresses, to be part of this ceremony. So we want to say a big thank you to your people for also inviting us to be here this morning to talk about the 94th Founders Day.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, okay, thank you. I think a few seconds. Yes, I left out the very important part of Saturday's event. In honoring the founders, we want to play. You know, Adaka used to have only 4 halls, which were named after these founders. Ellen Hall, Awulete, Alema. Awulete used to be Anglo Bean, Alema, which would be Michigan, and then Amado International. They'll be playing alongside the new halls, which GES have put up to augment these 4 schools. So there'll be a soccer match between teachers and old boys as a prelude to the traditional halls versus the new halls. So I'm also calling on all old boys to come and support and come together. Let's give the necessary recognition to this.
Okay, thank you very much. For my immediate left is Mr. Alfred Mills, Global Organizing Secretary, Accra Academy Old Boys Association, and also we had Dr. Eric Ebose.
Mr. Eric Ebose.
Sorry. Mr. Eric Ebose, headmaster of the Accra Academy School, and also Mr. Paul Kofi Yezu.
Yes. You don't want to go to heaven. That's why
and the school is Accra Academy.
Accra Academy.
There's no other senior high or school.
Hey, good.
It's the only academy in the whole
All right, so they were my guests for our sub lifestyle segment where we discussed their upcoming 94th Founders Day celebration, and so you have to join them if you're an old boy, and then celebrate with them. Coming up, we have our optometrist here waiting, and we are going to have a conversation that has to do with our sights. And so stay with us. Right after this short break, we'll get into that. and you're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. Now let's get straight into our conversation. I told you earlier that, or Yaira told you earlier that we're going to have a conversation that has to do with we not risking our sight, you know, due to the prolonged activities we have or engagements we have with our digital, you know, phones, laptops, anything that has light has a way of affecting our sight. And so we have a doctor here with us in the studio, and he's going to help us, you know, with the discussion. He is in the person of Dr. Essien, right? Yes. I hope I got your name right. Yes. So Dr. Emmanuel Essien is a doctor of optometry and the supervising optometrist at Del Cielo Optical Services, Tema branch. He is committed to delivering comprehensive patient-centered eye care that prioritizes satisfaction and positive visual outcomes. He is also actively promoting eye health awareness through community outreach and public education, and he is our guest for today. Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Thank you very much for making it on the show this morning.
Thank you.
So before we even get into the questions, why do you think it is important that our viewers get this form of education? All
right, so thank you for the opportunity given me. I would want to use this opportunity to also extend my warm greetings and then gracious greetings to all our viewers. I believe this is indeed a timely message for all of us. We are in a time where digital use and technology is advancing or increasing at unprecedented rate. And then in our quest for simplicity, convenience, how to get things faster and smarter, I think we've all come to immerse ourselves in a digital world. From school to workplaces, from homes to churches, we have screens and digital use everywhere. And then we need to all pay attention to the effect it may have on our eye. But as we go in the midst of all this progress, few of us have come to ask ourselves, what is the effect or the implication of these devices having on my eye? What impact would they have? Is there any impact at all? And I believe that we have to delve into that to know how these impact our eyes. So my first question will have to do with, tell us some of the common signs associated with prolonging the use of, you know, these technical or technological devices. All right, so we will need to understand what we call eye strain and then what we call visual eye strain. Okay. So eye strain comes in when we intensify the use of screens work with our eyes. So the more we use the eyes for longer period of time, especially with close things and then reading stuff, we strain the eye, get the eye fatigue and then tired. And so in most times it comes with potential harms and then dangers. Then we have what we call the digital eye strain, which is a variant or a type of eye strain. Purposely in relation to screens and then technological use. So in most times, some of these symptoms has to do with headache. Okay. There are people, the more you prolong screen use, you have prolonged screen use reading, you are found of getting severe headaches, frontal headaches and all that. You can also have tearing. People complain of tearing. When they use screens for a longer time, you see that water is dropping off the eye. Then others may complain of redness. So in most times, I have redness with my eyes. So these are some of the, either people may also have irritation. Okay. So the more you use the screens, because of the so much light and then the radiance coming from the screens, sometimes it may affect our eye, causing irritations and then so many of them. Yes. So these are some of the cardinal symptoms you may probably encounter when you use screens for a longer period of time. Yeah, and so I also want to know if there are, you know, long-term risk associated to, you know, the prolonged usage of these devices. All right, yeah. So there are long-term risks, especially when we use the screens without breaks. Okay. Most of the times we encourage that when we use screens, at least we should ensure that we have breaks within them. But then when we don't put in all these measures, some of the long-term risks we may have would be that there may be development of certain visual problems. That is what we call short-sightedness. Okay. So short-sightedness is when people now begin to see clearly at near, but have difficulty seeing at far. These are some of the complications. Then again, it may also worsen our sleeping rhythms or our cycles. The more we use screens for a longer period of time, there is a specific color or light that mostly harms the cycle of sleep, which is called the blue light. I believe you will have time to talk about. The more we are exposed to some of these light, especially the blue rays, it has so much implications on our sleep cycles.
Is that what you're seeing on our screens?
Yes. So these blue screens mostly emit these rays, and most of the times it affects our vision. It can affect the various layers of the eye, which is very complicated. At some point in time, it can lead to blindness.
Wow.
Then it also has relation with mental health. Because of the fatigue we experience when we use screens for a longer time, they overload the cognitive overload of multitasking. Sometimes we may have issues with mental health because this cycle also controls how we sleep, memory, cognitions, and all that. So when we use screens for a longer period of time with all of this overload, it can also cause some of these depressions and anxiety we experience.
Wow.
Yes.
This is like my first time hearing this. And so depression does not only come from, relationships and other things.
No.
Wow.
No.
Hits that point again.
Okay, so there is what we call the circadian rhythm.
Okay.
Circadian rhythm. It's actually a 24-hour control of the brain. It's not 24-hour economy, but it's a 24-hour control of the brain.
Okay.
It's mediated and then regulated by the brain. And so in most times, when we expose ourselves to screens, the blue rays affect the production of what we call melatonin, which is responsible for regulating sleep.
Okay.
It regulates sleep. So if there is deregulation of this melatonin, it affects the normal sleep.
Oh, okay.
So even though we are supposed to sleep to have release of stress and all that, now you can't sleep, so you have so much overload on you.
I've heard a lot of people complain that, maybe I woke up to visit the washroom, and then when I came back, I checked something on my phone, and after that I couldn't sleep again.
Oh, okay. Then again, the cycle also controls memory.
Okay.
It has cognitive abilities. It controls them. It controls our mood.
Okay.
So sometimes you may have prolonged use of screens, and now at a point in time you feel depression, you feel anxiety. It's just because this cycle controls all these cognitive processes. And so it mostly gets irritating and exacerbating when you prolong your screen use.
I see. And so with this particular blue light, is there a way we can, I know I can reduce the brightness of my phone, but is there another way we can reduce, our exposure to the blue light so we don't, fall victim to the effect you've mentioned?
That's fine. So I think we would have to then brief on the blue light rays.
Okay.
I think we have some pictures on that.
Okay, yeah. Producer, if we can have the images displayed.
So we have let's go basically into simple science. We have what we call the light. Light has two properties. We have the wave property of light and then the particle property of light. So we call that the wave particle duality of light. Now, when we talk about light as a wave, it falls within what we call the electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum. So in this spectrum, we have all the way from gamma rays to radio waves. So all that we are using here has to do with radio waves. But then in that spectrum, there is a cardinal point which is called the visible light.
Okay.
The visible light is only the one that is perceptible to vision. And within the visible light, we have colors ranging from yellow to violet. And blue is within. So I want us to talk on the red and then the blue.
Okay.
So when you consider the diagram we have here, the area of the red has lower wavelength, lower frequency, and lower energy.
Okay.
And then the area closer to the blue has shorter wavelength, higher frequency, and then higher energy.
Okay.
Because blue is found within that region, it is able to have greater penetration in the eyes. It can really affect the various layers of the eyes. Then again, it has greater proportion when it comes to the scattering effect. And then because it carries stronger energy, once it enters the eye, it can really be destructive. It can lead to blindness. It can lead to what we call cataract.
Yes.
So this is very important that we need to pay attention. So some of the things that we can do to mitigate the direct influence and exposure of the blue rays is to use photochromic. We have photochromic lenses. We have blue block lenses specialized for screen use. So the blue block lenses have filters. So once you have them on, like what I have on, and you use your screens.
Yours is which type of
blue block lens?
Blue block.
Yes.
So you use it for day and night?
Day and night.
Oh, okay.
Then it's also specialized for screen work. You can use it for screen work.
Oh, okay.
So the more you use it, it filters majority of the blue rays from having direct exposure on your eye. Then most screens also comes with what we call the anti-blue coatings and then filters. You can also put them on your screen.
Okay.
It's also important.
Okay.
Then blue light also comes from most of the light sources we use. Most of them, they're technical devices and all that. So you can have settings to them where you regulate or adjust the use of them.
Thank you very much, Doc. You are a doctor for a reason. Did you teach science or do any? Because you are taking me back to my science days. You are very loaded. Thank you very much. But briefly, tell us how, we are in a system where we cannot do away with these devices. And so are there ways that we can, mitigate our use of devices? Are there some lifestyle, ways you can advise us to go about the usage of these devices?
Okay. Thank you very much. There is no denying fact that digital use and screens are helping our lives for the better. But we need to also pay attention and use it carefully and wisely. As we come into these technological devices and all that, what we need to ensure the most is to ensure breaks. I would want to talk to you on some techniques that can help us. We have what we call the 20-20-20 rule.
Okay.
20-20-20 rule. So in using your screens, what you need to ensure is that after every 20 minutes, you break for 20 seconds and you look at far. So you look at 20 feet. So 20 minutes intense work, you break for 20 seconds and then you look at far, that is 20 feet. This helps to relax the eye. It breaks your direct exposure with screen work and then exposure to the blue rays. Then you also have what we call the Pomodoro technique. These ones are used in other fields. What it also has to do with is that when you use the screens for about 25 minutes, you break for 5 minutes, you relax. When you break for 5 minutes, in these breaks, you don't still sit on the screens. You need to stand or you need to look far.
Okay.
So active work 25 minutes, you break for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Then now you repeat the cycle again. Then you have a longer break. That can also help. Then what will also help has to do with putting on these safety measures we've mentioned. That has to do with the glasses, putting on your filters for the screens and all that. I believe once we put in these measures, it will reduce the exposure of the UV light on the eye.
So I have this personal question that I want to ask. How often should we get our eyes checked?
Okay, so we don't really have a universal time frame or guideline as to how many times you get your eyes checked. But then there are recommendations in terms of these guidelines. I would suggest that at least twice a year is fine. But then there are certain cases where based on one's condition, based on one's age, and then risk factors, you would have to increase the frequency at which you check your eye. For example, for kids, we expect that at least those newborn babies, after 6 months of delivery or birth, you are supposed to check their eyes. And then after that, they should have intermittent eye check, because in that period, their eyeball is still growing, the eye is growing. And so if there comes in any defect, we can easily detect and then know how to go about it. Then when it comes to aging, as we age, for example, most of the times between the age of 40 to 60 upwards, we have so many risks of conditions like diabetes, hypertension and all that, which can also have effect on the eye. Most of the systemic conditions can affect the eye. So as we age, it is also recommended that we increase the frequency at which we check our eye. Then people who find themselves in environmental exposures, exposed to chemicals, irritants, and all that, it is also recommended that you check your eye to ensure that you don't have any problem with it.
Thank you very much. I have a question here which says, are there certain age groups that fall more vulnerable to effects of digital eye strains? If yes, please let your doctor explain.
Okay, so so the age group, the first one has to do with the case, as I explained earlier on.
Yeah.
They are vulnerable because at that stage, they are still growing. From 0 to about 10, they are still growing. The eyeball is still picking up. So if we engage in screen use for a longer period of time, it can interfere with the development of the eyeball.
Okay.
And so we recommend that all kids, most of the time, should check their eyes. Then again, the vulnerable age has to do with the youth. Because of the increase in the demand with technological use, and then things they have to make sure they get it done. In most times, schoolwork, recreation work, and all that, they sit on the screens for a longer period of time. And because of that, they are exposed to some of these threats, which can intensify defect on the eye.
So if I get you right, sitting postures and other things also contribute?
Yes, sitting postures also contribute. Most especially, if you are using screens, computers, the distance from your eye to the computer should be about 50 to 70 centimeters.
Okay.
When you are using phones, it should be like 40 centimeters away from the eye.
Someone watching us might not know, what a centimeter is. So could you demonstrate, like, should I hold the phone like this, or it should come close, like how?
Okay, so most people use phones this way. But this is not the right way.
Okay.
It should be used around this side. Yes.
What's that?
40 centimeters.
Message,
This will be 40 centimeters.
This is okay.
It's very important because at least it creates a gap. And then you don't have so much direct exposure of the blue light on the eye.
Okay.
Then it also reduce eye strain.
Okay.
Then there's so much light entering the eye can make you very photosensitive. So when it comes back, it's very important. Then again, with computer use, the height of the screen should also be set. The top of the screen should either be at the eye level or should be just below the eye level.
Okay.
Horizontal eye level. So anytime you sit close to your computer,
we have something on our screens.
Yes.
Okay.
So anytime you sit close to your computer, there is an imaginary line you can create horizontally from your eye and then vertically.
Okay.
Now with the horizontal, it should be set in such a way that your eye level meets the top of the screen.
Okay.
So that naturally, when you look directly on the screen, your eye will fall at the center of the screen. You don't have to set it in such a way that you have to look up. It may affect your posture. It may affect your shoulder and your neck. It shouldn't also be so low that you have to bow before you see the screens.
Yeah.
So these are some of the standards we have to put in place so that we can reduce poor posture and ergonomics.
So we're wrapping up very soon, but let me also ask you, are there some food, there's a lifestyle segment, and so people would be wanting to hear if there are foods, drinks, any nutrients that we need to take to help us, avoid getting these eye strains. Yeah.
Okay, so I would recommend fruits, vegetables, food rich in vitamin A. Mostly is good for the eye, especially to avoid eye blindness or night blindness. Then food rich in vitamin C, citrus fruits and all that. Then food also rich in omega-3 fatty acids. These are also good. Then zinc, food rich in zinc. So we should also involve ourselves taking in vegetables, especially the dark leaf vegetables. Very important. Once we put ourselves in that, they are able to nourish the eye, importantly. Yeah.
Doc, what about those that use these minty ointments like aboniki and the rest? If their eyes if their eyes hurt, then they use some do they have any side effects?
All right, so we need to be very cautious when it comes to the eye. Most times when people have issues with the eye, they go out to the pharmacy to just get medications. By the time they come to the eye clinic, it's worse off. There is nothing much we can do, especially the use of traditional medications. When you use them on your eyes, it is very difficult for us to treat. Very difficult for us to treat. The eye is very sensitive. When you use those medications, it can really affect the eye and then complicate the whole eye, making it very difficult for us to put in measures to get your eye back. So please, the recommendation is that if you have issues with your eye, the best thing to do, don't go to the pharmacy. Don't apply any medication. Some of them, when they come to the eye clinic, you give them medication, immediately they have issues with their eyes. They use the same medication which have been there for many years. It's better to come to the eye clinic.
Like the eye drop. Let's say someone went to the clinic, she was given eye drops 3, 4, 6 months ago.
The person will be using it. Mostly, once you open the top of the drop, or once you comment using of the drop, you don't have to use it again after 1 month.
Oh.
Yes.
I see.
Because it can harbor infections and bacteria. So it's really recommended that we don't use it after a month.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Please, your last words.
Okay, so
any advice, anything to those watching you?
All right. So I would recommend, and my advice to all of us is that once we find ourselves in this digital world, let's put in place all these measures. Let's make sure we have pause, or we have spaces within our screen use. Let's relax our eye. We should not put so many things on our eyes to do them at a go. We should relax the eye. Then again, if you have issues with your eye, whatever issue you have with your eye, it's very important to check your eye, go to any nearby eye clinic and get the eye checked. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we are saying do not risk your sight. Digital dangers to the eyes. That was our topic for today's lifestyle conversation. And my guest was Dr. Emmanuel Essien, supervising optometrist at the Del Cielo Optical Services. I hope I'm getting it right, Tema Branch. Thank you so much, Doc, for passing through the Koko Digest morning show. Now we have some amazing personalities to celebrate. Stay with us.
I heard today was your birthday.
And yes, this is my favorite part of the whole show because I get to celebrate with people celebrating their birthdays, even though I don't know them. So let's start with our first birthday celebrant. Oh, wow. Glorious birthday to Mama Esther in America. You are a wonderful and amazing mother to all, and we thank you for all you do for us. We love you from your kids and grandchildren. This is to Madam Esther Kwale Korte, and this is from Rhoda and her brothers. They say a happy. Actually, it's just a belated birthday. We love you, Mommy. And this is also from your July mate, Benedict, to Ya Oparibia. Blessed birthday, Mom and more. Today, I thank God for your life, for every prayer you whispered for me, for every sacrifice you made in silence, for the love you poured so freely. You are not just my mother, you are God's gift to my life. Hey, Eradi Frenchy, dear baby. So happy birthday, Mommy. A happy birthday to my big baby, Michael Majid Michelle. Have an amazing year filled with all your wishes fulfilled. Lots of love. This is from Yaira. Happy birthday, Miss Telmana Nuno Aiba Breezy. May God carry you through all endeavors of life. The world awaits your greatness. This is from your husband. And a happy birthday to my little sister Leah, aged with massive grace, and the favor of God continue to be with you always, from your big sis, Na Amankwa Osumpafo the First. And we also have this from Benedict, and he says, happy blessed birthday to my brother, my friend, my blood, my G, Old Saint Augustine Abedu, aka Pineapple. Okay. May God continue to elevate you and your ways. Continue to shine, brother. Cheers to a wonderful new year. Thank you so much, Benedict. And all of you who brought in your birthday messages. Now, Clement Yabankwe is standing by to take us into the world of business. Hi there. Thanks for staying with us here on the Koko Digest Morning Show. It is still me, Miriam Abna Adede. Now, I have some sports updates for you, but I also have to update my name, from Gattuso to now Cole Palmer. Benedict, if you are watching me, I've changed my name. I've changed my name, right? So let's get straight into our sports updates for today. GFA approves Kotoko's trip to South Africa for friendly against Kaizer Chiefs. Now, the story says Asante Kotoko will play Kaizer Chiefs in a friendly match in South Africa on July 26, 2025 at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban. Thanks to approval from the Ghana Football Association, this match is part of the Toyota Cup and serves as preparation for the upcoming CAF Confederation Cup. Kotoko comes into the match after winning the President's Cup and the FA Cup. The GFA supports Kotoko's trip. Now, away from that, we also have the Ghana Football Association has appointed Stout McLaren as FIFA Talents coach under the FIFA Talent Development Scheme. The two-year role aims to boost Ghana's youth football strategy. McLaren, a UEFA Pro licensed coach with international experience, will work with the Ghana Football Association to implement a talent identification and development program. His responsibilities include player identification, performance evaluation, and improving coaching standards. The FIFA scheme seeks to enhance youth training and player development globally. That's some good news over there. And then to our last international story, we have Arsenal has secured a deal for Sporting CP striker Victor Gyökeres, potentially reaching 73.5 million euros. The agreement includes a 63.5 million euros base fee and 10 million in add-ons. His agent waived his commission to help the transfer. Despite drawn-out negotiations, Arsenal's offer surpassed Sporting's expectations. Notably, the 27-year-old Sweden international has not reported for pre-season with Sporting, underlying his intent to complete the move. The Swedish international is expected to sign a 5-year contract and join the team soon. And that's all we have for you on today's sports update with me, Miriam Abna Adi, aka Cole Palmer. And I'm out.
Good morning, welcome to the business update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Now on to our stories. In the second week of July, demand for treasury bills was weak, with the treasury experiencing a 39.68% undersubscription. The Bank of Ghana reported that the government aimed to raise 7.52 billion Ghana cedis, but only received bids totaling 4.53 billion Ghana cedis, falling short by 2.99 billion Ghana cedis.
Among the bids, 3.63 billion Ghana cedis out of 3.71 billion Ghana cedis for the 91-day bill was accepted, while 804 million Ghana cedis was accepted from 814 million Ghana cedis for the 182-day bill. The 364-day bill saw 100 million Ghana cedis accepted from 1.6 billion Ghana cedis in bids. Yields for short-term securities increased slightly, with the 91-day yield rising to 14.65%, the 182-day to 15.02%, and the 364-day to 15.41%. Analysts suggest this may indicate market resistance to current pricing in light of upcoming maturities. The government plans to raise 5.43 billion Ghana cedis in the next auction. Among the bids, 3.63 billion Ghana cedis.
Away from that, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition has successfully upgraded ENI's gas infrastructure, boosting gas supply from 245 million standard cubic feet per day to 270 million standard cubic feet per day. This enhancement is seen as a major milestone in the ministry's goal of ensuring a stable and sustainable energy supply for Ghana.
The increased gas capacity is expected to strengthen the power sector and promote economic growth. In a statement on July 14, 2025, the ministry expressed gratitude to ENI and other stakeholders for their collaborative efforts in this critical upgrade. They emphasized that the enhanced gas supply is vital for a reliable energy framework. Thanking the public for their cooperation during the project, Richmond Roxon, the ministry's head of communication, reiterated their commitment to providing consistent power supply and building a resilient, modern energy sector in Ghana.
Now, on the implementation of the 1 Ghana cedi energy sector levy, the government has planned to implement this levy on July 16th, that is God willing tomorrow, following a short delay to allow for further consultation. The levy, introduced to help stabilize the country's power sector, has encountered significant resistance from the parliamentary minority and major stakeholders in the transport and oil sectors.
The Coalition of Commercial Transport Operators, which represent over 90% of commercial transport operators across the country, is urging the government to halt the implementation of the policy. The group considers the levy to be poorly thought out and imposed without proper consultation with relevant stakeholders. They caution that if the levy is enforced as planned, transport fares across the country could rise by 30% starting on the day of implementation. According to the Ghana Commuter Drivers Association, the levy is not financially viable and could force many transport operators out of business. The group argues that drivers are already burdened with existing taxes on electricity and fuel, and that adding this new levy would place an unsustainable strain on their operations. If the government does not reconsider the policy, they say passing the cost on to commuters will be unavoidable.
On this very story, we'll be speaking with the Public Relations Officer of GPRTU of TUC Ghana for him to throw more light on some of the concern raised by some commercial drivers union in case of if this is really implemented, God willing, tomorrow. Is it really going to affect the prices of transportation, or is just really going to be the same? So we are just going to be joined in by Alhaji Abbas Ibrahim Moro, who is the GPRTU PRO on the line. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Clock TV.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Okay, sir, please, this is all about the energy sector levy. I think we've had you in the studios discussing this thoroughly, and it was suspended for some 2 weeks, and we've had, or we've gotten information that God willing tomorrow is really going to be implemented. We would like to know from the GPRTU point of view, how do you welcome this news?
Thank you very much. But I have to correct something from the coalition of drivers that they form about 80%. I mean, where do they come from? Who formed that coalition, which forms about 80%? It is not true.
Okay.
And as it is guarded. You see, we don't have to plant political trees in our transport industry. It will not yield any good dividend. We know very well that spending on something, you spend at times, you gain after the expenditure. At times, you spend and run at a loss.
Okay.
So we came out and said, yes, the 1%, the 1 cedi levy, or the liter is going to be our expenditure.
Okay.
And nobody is happy spending on whatever he has. But by then, the motive behind it It's going to benefit all of us.
Okay.
The motive behind it, that was why initially we stood against it. When it was clearly explained to us, we changed our mind and came out and said we should embrace it if that is exactly what the government is going to use it for. So just for somebody to turn around again and said, if you don't do this, we are going to do that. I mean, minority and majority are not the same. Majority has understood, and if minority says no, we shall say continue to explain further to them the reason why we should have said. Once upon a time, we were paying a liter, 23 cedis on a liter. Once upon a time, we were paying 23 cedis on a liter. And today, look at where we are.
Okay.
Why don't we help those who have stand behind us, make sure our expenses is going to be less? Yes, of course, we have issues surrounding our industry. Spare parts promise to reduce. They are aware they haven't done it.
Okay.
Other lubricants that you buy, although the dollar to CD, the amount is reduced, we haven't seen the reduction on the lubricants, etc., etc. But that doesn't mean that we should say things which have changed hasn't changed. So please with those few, of course, it is our wish that all professional drivers understand so that we all come together and help and move Mother Ghana forward. We say please with the few individuals who are still battling with the doubts in their mind to have a second look so that we all help push Mother Ghana forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Malaji. So does it mean that Ghanaians should relax and that we are not going to see any adjustment in transport fares any moment from now?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Alaji.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please, a quick one. I was asking that does it mean that Ghanaians should actually relax because GPRTU is not going to adjust its transport fare any moment from now?
Oh no, surprisingly, they shouldn't say if the 1 CD takes effect, they are going to change. Who is going to change that law effect? So that process is just not anybody, any transport operator who comes out and say, let's change the law effect, then we change it. No, we have to pass through the process whereby we don't cheat the general public.
Okay.
There is a process. Recently, I'm very happy one person was arrested in the north. One person was also arrested around Ho for charging exorbitant lorry fares. I mean, we are not in a country where anybody at all can do what he or she likes. We don't do that. We have the laws governing it.
Okay.
You see, so the public should decide. Whoever says they are going to change the law first, they don't have that right to change it. You have to change law first through a process. Then it becomes law for all of us. You just can't come because you have access to any radio station. You come and say, let us change the law first. Are you cheating yourself or cheating the general public? Or what are you doing? Okay. So the general public should disregard whoever comes out with that statement. It's just unfortunate.
Okay, so please, a quick one before you go. Does it mean that GPRTU doesn't know any group known as the Coalition of Commercial Drivers Association?
That could be named by anybody. We've been hearing. That is why I say who makes up that coalition. Okay. To the extent that they say they control about 80%. Where are they coming from? It is not true. They are about 80%. Even 10%, no. Okay. That's what industry. No.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alhaj, for your time this morning. really appreciate. We would come back to you in case
Thank you for calling. You're always welcome.
Okay, Alright. Okay, Alright. So that is the PRO for GPRTU of TUC Ghana, Alhaji Abbas Ibrahim, who just gave us more insights onto the implementation of energy sector levy. And he said Ghanaians should relax because we are not going to see any adjustment in transport fare anytime soon. Thank you so much for staying with us for the business update segment. And I'm Clement Yaban. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
Are you a young person with a
Today is going to be about climate change. Now, I'm going to take a short intro about why we're talking about climate change, then we go into the conversation. And it says here, accurate weather forecasts from the Ghana Meteorological Agency are essential for ensuring community safety by helping individuals prepare for extreme conditions. Climate education empowers citizens to understand and mitigate health risks related to climate change. Now, public engagement fosters resilience by creating supportive network during weather events, and also access to timely information allows residents to make informed decisions that protects their lives. And lastly, community feedback also enhances Ghana Meteorological Agency's outreach efforts to ensure effective meeting of the needs of the population. Now, today's conversation, we're going to be talking with two people, and yes, joining me in the studio at the moment, the next guest will join us later, and that's Dr. Muriel Omari. But right now, we have Dr. Nana Amwa. He is the acting director of the Climate Vulnerability and Adaptation, and he's going to be educating us a little bit on climate change. Hello, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well.
Right, so briefly, can you tell us what climate change is all about?
Thank you so much, and saying hello to your viewers and listeners as well. So when we talk of climate change, it springs from our simple understanding of weather. We know of weather conditions that are short-term manifestations of certain variables like temperature, rainfall, relative humidity, and so on and so forth. So you wake up in the morning, you have the forecast saying that the temperatures are going to be low or high. If it's going to be windy, it's going to be cloudy. These are weather conditions.
Right.
So it's for a short period at a particular place.
Okay.
When we talk of climate, it is when we take time to study these weather variables for a longer period. So the changes in these weather variables for a longer period gives us some kind of trend and understanding of how the climate systems are. So the change is what we now call climate change, and it manifests in different ways, of which probably we are going to talk about today.
Right. So is climate change different from global warming?
Yeah, so one is the effect of the other.
Okay. So which is which? Which one is greater?
So global warming is the bigger picture. Climate change is the effect of global warming. So how does global warming happen? It happens as a result of excessive emissions of heat-trapping gases into the atmosphere. So when continuously we emit gases like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and so on and so forth into the atmosphere for a longer period, these gases have the potential to trap heat into the lower part of the atmosphere, causing warming. And so when the warming, like this lower part of this roof in that we are sitting under, becomes excessively warm, it becomes unbearable for us to live in this smaller environment that we find ourselves in. And it has a lot of implications.
Okay.
Maybe minimal oxygen, excessive heat, maybe the body having some ripple effects and so on and so forth. So global warming is the bigger picture. And as a result of global warming, a change of climate also happens.
Okay. So from what I remember in school, I know climate is the weather conditions of a certain demographic, like a group of
That's exactly what I told you.
Yeah. So is it possible to have a different maybe level of climate change in one region as opposed to the other, or it's happening to the whole earth at once?
Now the changes, so the change is happening all over, but the level of change might not be the same across the world. So different ecosystems have different manifestations of the change. But the global warming that we talk about, that's why it's called global. So it's worldwide. And so the warming is the entire world, and the effect is happening in different parts of the world in different forms.
Okay.
In some places, you are seeing warm temperatures. In some places, you are seeing sea level rise, so those who live around the coast. In some places, you are seeing droughts, so drought conditions. In some places, you are seeing excessive rainfall patterns that are not normal. So the effects are not the same everywhere, but warming is global.
Okay, okay. So as an official from the Environmental Protection Agency, what role would you say the EPA plays in this situation?
Okay, so the Environmental Protection Authority.
Oh, authority, sorry.
Is the technical arm of the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology in trying to coordinate climate change related activities across the country. So technically, we educate, we build capacity, we develop policy documents, and then we also create awareness on climate change in different forums. Depending on which stakeholders we are dealing with, we have different functions. But centrally, we coordinate climate-related activities. Now, it is very common to find climate change units in almost all the departments and agencies in the country. So forestry, energy, water, transport, disaster risk reduction, and so on and so forth. All of them have established climate change units or department as part of the mainstreaming agenda. Why? Because climate change is a cross-sectoral issue. It cuts across all sectors. It cuts across all ecosystems. And so managing climate change doesn't rely on only one sector institution, but all the sector institutions. That's why it's important to liaise with all these departments and units from the various sectors to be able to comprehensively address the issue from different angles.
Okay, so let's come to human activities that seem to be worsening our climate change or making it even more rapid. So how do activities like deforestation, galamsey, and even the poor urban planning that we have in the country contribute to the greenhouse gas emissions that we have?
Okay, let me take the issues one by one. So you mentioned deforestation and then galamsey-related issues, which is associated with degradation. You also mentioned poor urban planning. So starting from deforestation, the forest ecosystem plays a very important role in absorbing carbon dioxide or carbon from the atmosphere. So trees act as a sink in general. As part of photosynthesis that we know in science, when the tree is manufacturing its food to be able to stay longer, it actually uses carbon dioxide. So it attracts carbon dioxide. In science, we call sequester or absorb from the atmosphere. And once this is absorbed, it goes through some processes. And the feedback is oxygen that is given to humanity and the ecosystem. And so the mass of the tree, what you call maybe, can be the branch, it can be the leaf, it can be the stem, even the roots had accumulated and stored carbon dioxide for many years. And so if you cut this tree and process it, you are bringing back this carbon into the atmosphere. And so increasing the already existing carbon in the atmosphere. So deforestation is one of the key things that, because trees are very important in this process. So once we cut down these trees, we multiply the number of carbon within the atmosphere. Because what has been stored is like you put maybe bees or ants undercover. You're hiding them to a safer keeping. And then all of a sudden you open the lid. And then what do you see? You give them back into the atmosphere. And so that's exactly what you see. Because you don't see carbon being stored in the mass of the tree, we underestimate or we underrate the activities that we do with the tree. But that's exactly what happens when we do that. When we burn, it even increases because then other elements of gases also come in. Not only carbon dioxide, but can also be other gases. So secondly, when we talk of land use change, it's also, there is the climate element and then also the non-climate element. We are converting forest lands to maybe better structures like houses, roads, and so on and so forth. And so we are actually also degrading and then taking green cover from the surface. The other side of it is once we take this green cover, we also exacerbate the effect of climate change. Why? Because now the surface becomes bare. And so when it rains, the runoff is very fast and quicker. And so more storm water can be collected very quickly. That can actually cause flooding. One of them is wetlands, for instance. Wetlands act as a very important reservoir for harvesting storm water. And so when wetlands are destroyed or maybe sealed up with concrete, obviously what we are saying is that the home of this storm water is no longer there. And so when it rains,
to make a home in your house.
So that's why when it rains, you see this water coming into our offices and homes and so on and so forth. Because we have prevented the belly, which is supposed to absorb it, and then trying to cause it ourselves. Again, in terms of the land use, for instance, because we are also paving a lot, it's also attracting a lot of heat because temperatures are increasing. So heat conditions within the urban settings are also increasing. So there are a number of ways that we're actually using land use change to cause climate change. There are a number of them that we can talk about.
Okay, so
Galamsey, quickly.
Galamsey.
It has the environmental effect and then the climate effect. Okay. So the environmental effect is where you are actually polluting water bodies, you are destroying land cover and so on. And in doing so, you are also deforesting, because we see in this country, for instance, that these activities happen maybe in cocoa lands, in forest lands, and so on and so forth. So you are obviously taking stored or sinks and then allowing them to be played back into the atmosphere, as I explained earlier on.
Okay, so before, I know you have to leave us very soon, so let me just go to the more solutionable questions. So now, what are some of the consequences, maybe with even legally or otherwise, for individuals that are involved in some of these practices that are unsustainable for our environment?
So I think when we say the illegal consequences, I think...
legal consequences, yes.
Yeah, so when we look at what is happening, obviously we are seeing so many heat conditions, illness, for instance, that are associated with climate-related issues. Drought leads towards food insecurity. Food insecurity can cause malnutrition, and malnutrition can cause illness. That is indirect. Directly, when there's floods in flood conditions in cities, for instance, there are a number of flood-related diseases like diarrhea, cholera, and so on and so forth. Mosquitoes are also multiplied. And so a lot of diseases are also associated with that. High temperatures also cause malaria-related issues. Beyond that, floods also destroy farmlands. There have been instances where we've seen a lot of farms in the northern part, which is the breadbasket of the country. Coincidentally, their rainy season coincides with the opening of the Bagri Dam from Burkina Faso, and a lot of farmlands and food crops are destroyed during that period. Normally happens in August around this area. And then also to the country, for instance, if you look at sea level rise, it is actually eating into the land, causing a lot of havoc to people and properties that along the coast. As a country, for instance, we have our two major ports, Tema Port, Takoradi Port, located along the coast. We have the Atuabo Gas, Abuadi Thermal Power Plant. Almost all the national strategic investments are along the coast. Potentially, this can be affected if the level of sea that we are seeing continues. It's not only that. If you take sector by sector, you can actually dissect to know that it is not just climate that is changing, but the impact actually affects a number of things that we do. Transport, for instance. We do a lot of emissions in almost all the corridors of the country. And then, apart from the jam that we see, There's also warming, global warming, as I spoke about. Apart from that, there are also associated illness that are associated with this. Carbon monoxide from exhaust causes a lot of problems with oxygen flow in the body. And so these are some of the things that we can talk of in terms of consequences.
So with the EPA, right? Okay, so somewhere during the May floods, right, there were lots of social media posts and videos, and somebody mentioned that somewhere around Pantang, there used to be a sort of river or a stream, but it seems as though people have sealed it and made it into a place to build. Now, the EPA, maybe, is the EPA likely to be the authority that goes into some sort of investigation to find the culprits for that? And then, if they are, what are some of the punitive measures they would enforce?
Thank you so much. This is a very important question and very sensitive question as well. I had this question last week when I was in Kumasi. I was meeting up with district chief executives, municipal chief executives, and metropolitan chief executives on this same climate change topic. And interestingly, this question was asked to me by one of the chief executives. The assembly has the power to manage the local issues, including constructions within their jurisdictions. And within the assembly, there are committees that are cross-sectoral, with which even EPA is a member of, who actually inspect and then issue permits for construction in all forms. The problem is, in this country, we like shifting blames and then avoiding responsibilities. A lot of public sector institutions have been sleeping on their jobs, making it difficult for these things to properly be let me say, implemented. Because there are laws, land use laws, there are a lot of policies that are governing proper construction in this country. We have all not been working well. And that is where the challenge is. If you want to start blaming, you bring in NADMO, you bring in EPA, you bring in the assemblies, you bring in almost all the key sectors. The challenge is, in this country, development is ahead of planning. And so, if you are not careful, people get the land because of the structure and the system of our tenure. The ownership of the land is by a different authority, which is what? Chiefs or traditional authorities. And then the managing aspect is from government. And so, if that collaboration is not there, when do you sell the land? To who? And for what purpose? These issues need to be comprehensively worked out. And I'm not sure it is working out the way it's supposed to be as we speak now.
So, the EPA, though, since you are the Environmental Protection Authority, do you also tend to go on, let's say, supervisory, I can't find the right word, let's say
monitoring.
Trips, yes, some monitoring and evaluation, just like I mentioned, there used to be a river somewhere, now it's being sealed. Now we know that some of the rivers like the Birium and Cobra and the rest, they are, why is this? So you know how the river flows, the direction it's been diverted and things. Does the EPA go on these kinds of monitoring and evaluation trips to check how the environment is being protected and things like that?
It's our core mandate. We do monitor, we do compliance in different forms. And I'll come back again and say that, you know, there's one thing having the laws, and then another thing allowing the laws to work. The very people who are supposed to protect, to make the laws work, are not allowing them to work. And you can name almost everybody, from the security agencies to the executives to the powers that be, to ourselves as officers who have been committed to do. And so I speak frankly, I speak openly, because this is the situation. Unless somebody wants to play ostrich to this issues. The issues are there. For our mandate, we monitor. Sometimes we even send people, we prosecute, we take people to court to make sure that the law, it works. But it is not the way it's supposed to be, as you and I know, because you're Ghanaian.
Right. But okay, it seems we are dwelling a little on the negative.
Yeah.
But have there been any success stories that the EPA can share with regards to the community participation when it comes to climate change?
Yes. Climate change affects livelihoods. And so there have been quite a number of engagement and projects on the ground that provide resilience for people. In fact, for the last 10 years, we've been working in different communities to make sure that those who are affected are supported in different ways. So there are projects that are on the ground. We continue to also work to make sure that grants, because the government has a very tight fiscal space to address a number of competing development issues.
Yeah.
So we need to be working hard to make sure that grants from outside the country also come to support the government. That's one of the things that we do. For example, last week, a grant of $63 million had been approved by the Green Fund to support climate change adaptation. We work with the World Bank, we work with other partners, UNDP, UNEP, and so on and so forth, and diverse climate environment-related issues. And so there are positive stories. There is currently, the EP Act, for instance, has a section 5 of the Act, which was passed early this year, has climate change incorporated. And some of these things, when they are documented at the law level, it gives confidence to investors, for instance, to do business with the government. Okay. So there are a number of positives that maybe time will not allow us.
Yeah, I think we will have to have you back so that we get the full 1 hour with you. But then also I would like to ask, wrapping up, that the EPA, do you also have any campaigns that you do around in communities for some sort of behavioral change?
Yes.
Okay.
That we have for the climate change department. You know, when you mentioned my title, you said climate vulnerability and adaptation. We have climate change capacity and education.
Okay.
That is dealing with school children, school curricula, community engagement and awareness. And then we also have an aspect that deals with carbon market related issues. So how do you convert carbon into money and make business with it and so on. They are all part of the things that we do at EPA. So it's a bigger unit with a lot of subsections. So we do awareness in communities. But 2 weeks ago, for example, we had carried out quite a number of engagement activities in areas in Sashi, in the Kwai Ashanti region, in other places. So we do those things from time to time.
Now, it seems that a lot of times the campaigns tend to go towards the rural areas, but then the urban areas are, overpopulated. Is there any attention diverted to the urban areas as well?
I think that's a very good question. You see, that's the mistake we normally do. So we over-concentrate outside the cities at the expense of the big cities. I think there are interventions. Maybe we may have to double the efforts in the cities, because when we talk of poverty, our attention is always at the rural area. But in the urban settings, there are a lot of urban poor people, informal settlements that are going to be affected negatively by climate change. So this is an area that I know the University of Ghana and some other research institutions focus more with the urban poor. And as EPA, I think we need to be working closely with these research institutions to address these concrete issues.
Thank you so much. We will have to have you back. This one wasn't enough at all, because I was just starting to learn, but I know you have to leave us. But we have a comment here. This one says, "Good morning, Ira. Thank you, EPA, for this insight, because this weather is affecting my farms. Thank you for this discussion topic." This is Blessing J in Swedru.
Oh, wow. So, yes. Hello, Swedru. How are you, Blessing?
Yes, thank you so much. It's time for a quick break. When we come back, we will have an official from the Ghana Meteorological Agency or Authority. One of
that one is agency.
Agency, yes. Joining us to also educate us on, weather forecast issues as well. Please do send your questions and comments. We will have our official here from the EPA back again, fully. So with that too, I'll communicate the time or the day for that. So please do stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show, and if you're just tuning in, we're having our main discussion, and earlier we were speaking with an official from the Environmental Protection Authority on climate change, but unfortunately he had to leave us. So we will have a part 2 with him, an extensive conversation, and learn more about the EPA later on in the show in the upcoming weeks. But for now, we have Madame Muriel Omari. She is a meteorologist at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, and she's also here to talk about climate change and its effects. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Yes. So, Meteorological Agency, we know that you deal with the weather, and the little I've learned from my previous guest was that climate has to do with our weather on a larger scale. So basically, how is the Ghana Meteorological Agency able to give the forecast, and how does it help us?
Okay, so in terms of generating forecast, we have certain things we look out for. So one of them is the pressure centers.
Okay.
And so we have pressure centers that dictate the weather conditions of our sub-region. And so one of them is St. Helena.
Okay.
So with that high pressure center, it becomes active during the rainy season.
Okay.
Yes, so, and then we have another one called the Azores Pressure Center. And so with that too, it gets active during the dry season. And so during the rainy season, we realize that the pressure values over the Azores, or the St. Helena region intensifies. And so when it intensifies, it's an indication that you are going to have a lot of moisture being thrown into the country.
Okay.
And so after having that on the side, we then look out for winds.
Okay.
So winds, whether they are coming from the ocean or they are coming from the land. And so typically during the rainy season, you will have the winds. We check for the surface wind. So per our work in the office, we look out for the 925 HPA level. And then we also look out for 850 HPA level. We check and then see whether they are actually maritime winds. Maritime in the sense that whether they are coming from the ocean. And so when they are coming from the ocean, they are coming with moisture.
Okay.
Yes. And then we also look out for some curvature. So we have something called cyclonic flow.
Okay.
So when we see a cyclonic flow at the surface, that's 925 HPA level, 850 HPA level, it's a good feature to support rainfall activities.
Okay.
And then also we move a level higher, so we consider the 700 HPA level. So with that, we term that as a steering level.
Okay.
Steering level in a sense that it determines the direction in which the systems are going to move. That's the rainstorms are going to move. And then we also go a further upwards, that's a 200 HPA level, to also see whether we are having this feature called anticyclonic flow. Anticyclonic flow in a sense that it helps in subsidence.
Okay.
And so if you are having the cyclonic flow at the 925 HPA level, 850, and then 700, it's just like we are treating it as a tunnel.
Okay.
And so you have moisture being filled in that tunnel. But then when you get to the upper level, which is the 200 HPA level, you have to look out for a feature that will bring down the rain. And so that's the anticyclonic flow. Yes, so that's another thing. We also saw the St. Helena, whether it's active, and then the pressure levels, I mean the winds, yes, to see whether they are active. And then also we have another thing we also analyze. We have the mean sea level pressure charts. So with that too, we see whether pressures are high or pressures are low.
Okay.
So when pressures are high, they do not support rainfall activities. So they support fair weather, stable weather. But when pressures are low, they support rainfall activities.
Okay.
Yes, so these are some of the things we look out for before we do our forecast. Yeah.
So you mentioned maritime winds, and it took my mind to, is it the same as the northeast trade winds that we used to learn about?
Okay, so the northeast trade winds, they are the Hamatan winds.
Okay.
So this one is a southwest monsoon wind.
Okay, yes, monsoon. Yes.
So,
okay, so it's the same thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go into the role
Okay.
What are the core functions of GMET?
Okay, so our main function is to provide weather and then climate services. Yes, that's our main function. Provision of weather and then climate services.
Right. So how reliable and accessible are your weather forecasts? Because people don't tend to believe, even sometimes when the messages float about, they say, oh, GMET there. How accessible and how reliable are they coming from you who works there?
Okay, so the good thing is I happen to be in the Central Analysis and Forecast Office where we generate the forecast for the public every day. So we do not just send out the forecast and then sit aloof. So every Monday we come to assess the forecast we sent out to the public. So we call it validation. So we validate and then see whether what we sent out was on the right side or on the left side. And so I think if not for anything, we've not scored anything less than 80.
Okay.
But the thing is,
that's
yes.
good.
So the thing is, people don't use. I remember just 2 weeks ago, I personally issued a weather warning.
Okay.
We issued it very early, around 12 p.m. And then we issued an update again around 3 p.m. But still, it didn't get to most people. And it seems as if they wait until the event has happened. And then we have some, sorry to say, some stations too who wait until the event has happened before they go to put the headlines. Okay, so Ghana Meteorological Agency warns of more rains. But we had issued the weather warning far ahead. But they wait because, as you said, they do not trust what we send out. But those who are on our Let's Talk Weather platforms at X, Telegram, they can attest to the fact that we send out information quite early. But the challenge being that Ghana, because our weather is either sun or rain, they do not put so much emphasis on the forecast we send. And so if they would pay attention to what we send out every day, they will be able to assess us, because we have some people who always fight for us because they follow it every time. So that's a challenge. We just need them to follow what we send out every day, and then they will be able to tell whether it's on the right side or on the left side.
All right. Okay. So, what are, like, right, I remember they said we are going to be experiencing the coldest times in a while, but it seems as though since that warning came, it hasn't really rained. So can we say that maybe that prediction was not very accurate, or how do we term such a prediction?
Okay, so we issued a disclaimer. That wasn't from our agency.
Okay.
So I spoke with one of your sister stations, and then I even reiterated that our data hasn't shown anything like the coldest, or we should expect more colder conditions.
Okay.
Our data didn't say anything like that. We don't know where they got that information from. We've issued disclaimers upon disclaimers. We've even issued our July-August weather.
Yeah.
We've issued them. And so we don't know whether, because they get waves with such information, that's why they tend to tell, because that wasn't from our agency.
Okay.
We never issued anything of that sort. Data hasn't shown any difference.
Okay.
Even as far as I'm concerned, last year was more colder.
Oh, I was even going to ask whether we are experiencing maybe the coldest time. That could be the reason for such.
No, data hasn't shown anything too different.
Okay.
And even for this week, we are even going to have a lot of sunshine. So
I mean, we need it. We've watched though.
In fact, we don't know where that came from. That wasn't from our agency.
Okay. Yes. So can you provide some temperature records for, let's say, major cities like our Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale, and the extent to which the cold weather has run so far?
Okay. So
just a brief overview.
Okay. So in terms of maximum temperature, I would say for this season, the highest we have recorded for just July, it's 28 degrees Celsius. and then the least is around 23 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
But the middle sector, I think the lowest we've reported is 27, and then the least to around 22.
Okay.
The north too, they are in their rainfall season.
Okay.
So they are having frequent rains. Their temperature has moved, I think, up to 30 degrees Celsius because they are able to even record up to 41 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
So they experiencing 30 degrees Celsius is much of a reduction in temperatures. Yes.
Okay. So how long is this cold weather expected to last, considering climate change issues? Because I think some years back, it rained all the way into October, which we know should be the beginning of the Harmattan season. And even Harmattan started, I think, somewhere late February into March, as opposed to the way we start the new year with very cold weather, very dry weather. How is this going to work out?
Okay, so typically for southern Ghana, we have two rainfall seasons.
Okay.
We have the major rainfall season and then we have the minor rainfall season. So the major rainfall season from March, April, May.
Okay.
Into part of June.
That's a major. March is usually heat wave or
no, but March is a start of so March, April, May, and then some days in June. And then our minor rainfall season actually starts from September into November.
Okay.
Yes, so you experiencing rainfall in October
is not strange.
It's not strange.
Okay.
It's actually the minor rainfall season, and then even data shows that we have even more rains during the minor rain season as compared to the major rainy season. Yes, so we tend to have our Harmattan coming depending on how much rains we've had. Latter part of December into January and then February. Yes, that's the Harmattan period. So having rains in October is nothing too far-fetched.
But I think there was a time it rained somewhere in December around Christmas or so. Is that strange, considering it is supposed to be dry season?
Yes, so it's not strange. So as I mentioned, we have pressure systems that dictate our weather. Okay, so let's say during the Harmattan season, where you are expected to have the Azores pressure intensify, and then it's not intensifying, but rather the St. Helena, which is supposed to pump in moisture, is rather active. And it means you still have maritime winds coming, you still have moisture coming, and so until St. Helena relaxes, the pressure system that supports or brings in rain into our country relaxes, and then the pressure system that brings in dust intensifies, you can have rains in December.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't think I've asked though, but the St. Helena and the Azores, where exactly are they located?
Okay, so they are both over the ocean.
Okay.
Yes, they are. If I had it, I would have shown you. They are both over the ocean.
Okay.
So the St. Helena is over the South Atlantic Ocean, and then we have the Azores over the North Atlantic Ocean. So when you see the African map, you see that we have the ocean just around
it.
So at the southern part of Ghana, that's where we have the St. Helena, and then at the northern part of of Africa,
the top there,
that's where we have the Azores.
Okay, so these are the pressure points that help to determine
they dictate weather in Ghana.
So how long is this cold weather expected to last? Because some people are saying the seagulls are suffering.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, it's nothing like cold weather. Just that the winter, they are coming with colder conditions. But it's not cold weather. And then I mentioned to you that even this week we are going to have a lot of sunshine.
Yes.
So it will reduce it a bit.
Okay.
And then into next week, we will also do another weekly outlook. Then we will see what will also transpire for the following. But for this week, we are going to have a bit more sunshine.
Okay. So, are there any weather alerts that we should be aware of for this week? Aside the sunshine, is there likelihood of some rain?
Okay, so we are in July. And then July, we determined that, or we termed that as the little dry season.
Okay.
Okay, so that's when there's a period we have the slight rain or drizzle. And so it's not going to come up with the thundery activities.
Okay.
We are just going to see the drizzle. We are just going to see the slight rain. So it's really nothing to really worry about. Just that areas over the mountainous and in the forested zones, our drivers are really supposed to work on their headlights.
Okay.
Because the foggy conditions are going to intensify. And then as a result of that, if their fog lights and then their headlights are not working properly, it's going to result in a lot of accidents.
Okay.
Yes, so that's one alert we'll send out to our drivers.
Okay, so we have a comment here. This is Kwejo Dakon Adai, DGLE. He says, greetings to your viewers and to my senior colleague in your office. God bless the Ghana Meteorological Agency and make them great and strong. This is greetings from Tamale District Meteorological Agency. So I see some of your colleagues are watching in solidarity. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, this is a quick reminder to send in your questions and your comments to our WhatsApp number displayed onto your screen, and also to our YouTube or Facebook live stream. That is if you are watching via social media, and I will do well to ask our guest for more information for you. So okay, now what's some of the efforts that you make? How exactly do you make any efforts without any, for those who don't have scientific backgrounds, like you're mentioning, you know, the Azores and the Saint something. Is it, hey,
Saint Helena.
Yes, Saint Helena. I was going to say Teresa for some reason. Yes, so people who don't have this scientific background, how do you help them understand what is happening with the weather?
Okay, so the good thing is they are not supposed to worry about how we come up with the forecast.
Okay.
Theirs is to just listen to the forecast. So some good things we have put in place is we say the weather in the Akan language.
Okay.
We give the forecast in the Akan language. Yes, so we have some local stations who call in every morning.
Okay.
We say it in the dialects most people will understand around that area. And so that's one good thing. And then one thing we are also putting in place is to get we have town something. So we give them the weather, we explain to them, and then they would also share with other people.
All right. So in what ways do your forecasts help, you know, farmers to make informed decisions about farming, especially in the aspect of the fact that, let's say, this farmer knows that, oh, since it's rainy season, let me plant corn. But maybe considering, I think it was earlier mentioned that in this time, the dam from the Burkina Faso is, yes, and maybe that would destroy the plant.
Yeah.
So rather than planting corn, plant something that can withhold, you know, the soil. How are you able to help farmers with such things?
Okay, so we have, in fact, it's quite disturbing that the public do not know these things. But we actually have a section or a department who are into training and then informing our farmers.
Yeah.
So theirs is to just inform the farmers. And so we have bulletins we send every week and as and when necessary. So they have a platform where information is put on those platforms to help the farmers. So they get timely information, whether rainfall amounts are going to be higher or whether rainfall amounts are going to be lower.
Okay.
So they get alerts on those stuff, yes.
Right. So do you work with media houses? Like you mentioned, you have a few channels here and there. Have you, in a way, maybe mandated media houses to join these platforms to be able to get like timely information to be able to disseminate?
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, something is being put underway with NCA.
Okay.
Yes, to get the information sent out to a lot of people. Yes, but as it stands now, and then as that process is ongoing, we speak to a couple of stations.
Okay.
Yeah, we speak to a couple of stations. But just that we need a lot more on board to amplify.
Yeah.
Because you realize that any time it rains, the way the public turns the whole thing, it looks like we still have a lot of people to reach out to. Yes, so it's underway. But on the brighter side, currently we still have a lot of stations receiving our forecast every day.
Right. Okay. So we have a question here. This one says, "Good morning, Koko Digest. Thank you, Koko Digest and GMET, for this educative discussion. For this, how does GMET engage with local communities to raise awareness about the weather and climate-related risks and promote adaptation strategies?" This person seems to have read well. Because the weather here in Cape Coast, most of us don't have access to the internet and the TVs. So this is a clear answer in Cape Coast.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned this earlier. So we are putting something in place where we will engage the local people. So let's say we get to Cape Coast and then we pick some people who are able to read and write. We give them the forecast. We help them translate it into their local languages.
Okay.
And then they're able to disseminate them to a lot of people.
Okay. So wrapping up quickly, how do you collaborate with the schools and media houses and, you know, these local government and assembly agencies to be able to communicate up and help them prepare for any severe weather conditions to come?
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned with the schools, so we have this Green Climate Club.
Okay.
That we've set up in the agency where we reach out to especially the secondary schools, the senior high schools. So we train them, we let them get interested in weather and then climate stuff, and then we also try and then send them timely information on their platforms.
Okay.
Yes, that they will be abreast with whatever we are expecting. And then I mentioned that of the communities, the farmers, that we have platforms for them, translate them into local dialects for them to understand. Yes, but with the local government, as far as I'm concerned, I cannot speak to that.
Okay.
Maybe I would have to ask a lot more about that in terms of the local government. But in terms of the senior high schools and then the communities, yes.
Okay. So it seems, yes, the rural communities tend to get, well, what about the urban communities here? Do they also get this kind of GMET?
So with the urban communities, in fact, we don't know how we will go down to their level again, because we organize training sessions. Even 2 weeks ago, we organized one training session where they will get to understand the forecast we send out. We had some people joining in. Yes, and then we also sent videos of what our forecast or our impact-based forecast is trying to say. We send them out to our YouTube channels, our X platform, in fact, all our social media platform, with the exception of Facebook. But still, it's as if we don't like reading. Sorry to say. Yes.
It seems that's
because we've actually tried our best to get to, especially those in the urban areas, to get to each and every one, but still.
All right. Okay, so all too soon, our time is almost up, and I'd like to take your closing remarks, because I know that a lot of people have been saying all kinds of things about the Ghana Meteorological Agency. So yes, anything you would like to tell them so that, you know, they can start trusting?
Okay, so all I would say is they should follow us on our platforms. So in terms of WhatsApp, the number is 0279 65 68 75.
So this is the WhatsApp number.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we are on X too.
Okay, so X is at
Ghana Meteorological Agency.
Is it the full thing?
Yes, so there's an underscore.
Okay, so Ghana underscore
Meteorological.
Okay, meteorological.
Cow underscore
agency.
Yes.
Okay. And then you say you're not on Facebook?
Yes. So we are having a challenge with our Facebook account.
Okay.
Yes. So in the interim, we are out of Facebook.
Okay. What about you mentioned Telegram? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on Instagram, same Ghana Meteorological Agency.
With the underscore.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we are on Telegram too.
Okay.
It's Let's Talk Weather.
Okay. So Telegram.
Yes.
Let's talk weather.
Yes.
So is there any underscore with that one too?
No.
Just let's
talk weather.
Okay.
Yes.
So we will do well to put that on our social media platforms as well. But for those who would like to join the WhatsApp or to be able to reach out to GMET, please, that does not mean you should send them any, disrespectful comments and things like that. This is solely for you to get weather updates. Please be respectful to yourself and to the Ghana Meteorological Agency as I repeat these numbers, because I will catch you and I will lash you. So it says here, yes, 027 965 then 6875. 027-965-6875. So you can text them. Maybe they'll add you to a platform where you can get weather updates every week or every month or every day. Every day, actually. Okay. And then on Instagram and on X, it's at Ghana_Meteorological Agency. So Ghana_Meteorological Agency. No, Meteorological_Agency. So 3 underscores. So Ghana_Meteorological.
No underscore.
Okay, no underscore for the beginning. Okay, so Ghana Meteorological_ Agency for both Instagram and X, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ghana Meteorological _Agency. Then on Telegram, you can look for them. Let's Talk Weather. No underscores or anything. So this is one way to help yourself get weather updates. You can even be taking the screenshots, posting on your social media as well. Help one another with that. Thank you so much. And we will have you back again maybe when it rains. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody, but before I go with my vote of thanks, there's a birthday wish here. It says, to Sami Tete Jr., wishing you a very happy birthday, my incredible brother. May this year be filled with happiness, growth, and everything you desire. And this is from James, our very own James here. And from myself to my friend Salome Opoku Ajiman, aka Fafa Bougie, I want to say happy birthday to you. Have an amazing year, and I love you so much. And I know that the party will be booming, so I'll come and see you very soon. Yes, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We are most grateful, and we also thank you all for sending in your comments. And we'll see you bright and early on Thursday morning.
Clog TV, beyond the policy.